Hey, this is actress Carissa Lee Staples, and you're listening to the Oh Brother Podcast.
Welcome to the Oh Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
How's it going, Dan? Another week?
Good, man. It is August 13th. When you hear this episode, we are back to do a review of the latest Walt Disney Pictures feature, Jungle Cruise.
Premiere access. Yes.
Yes, baby.
Yes.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back, baby. Now, I was going to say Jungle Curse because a couple days ago, because you'd seen this before me, and you texted me and said, I don't know what we were, but you said Jungle Curse. And then you repeated it. And I thought, but now I know. So now I think that was intentional. Because at first I'm like, is that Siri? Is he in a battle with Siri again? I couldn't tell.
Is it auto?
Right. Is it autocorrect? But
No.
So anyways, we'll get to that. But before we do, let's get to the important business, which is for those of you not currently following us, make sure that you do. And the easiest way to find all things Oh Brother is to go out to our official website, which is B as in brother podcast.com. It's ohbpodcast.com. And you can get access to all our social media out there. It's a one-stop shop for Oh Brother. And speaking of shop, we even have the Oh Brother shop. So if you want to, you and the socks,
I think
Red Sox? I don't know. And they are, there's some red in there.
There's some quality socks.
Some quality socks. But we do have a new Oh Brother shop out there. So if you want to support the show and show off your Oh Brother pride, you can visit the shop and get your Oh Brother merch. It's a ringing endorsement, isn't it, for the Oh Brother shop? But actually, we've already sold a couple of units. One of them, I think, was to you. And so we're right out of the gate with that Oh Brother shop. But also you can get access to our blog, which Mike puts out almost weekly. Fall a little behind here.
I'm a little behind this week.
Got to talk to the publishers there, but he's a little behind. And also make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to grow our base out there. So we do put, usually it's a very similar version out on the YouTube channel, but we're playing around with that, trying to find that sweet spot. And it would really help us out if you go out there and watching like our videos on YouTube. So also, if you like what we're doing and you want to support the show, another way you can do that is tell your friends about it. And you can find us on all podcast pods. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our iHeartRadio, Pandora. I mean, you name it, Amazon, we're everywhere. All right. So Jungle Curse or Jungle Cruise? Now
I made a mistake. It's Jungle Snooze.
Jungle Snooze. Jungle Snooze. Okay, so that's how this is gonna go.
Jumping right in, baby.
So this came out July 30th, 2021. So it's a recent release, and it stars, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I think it's like Emily Blunt month on Oh Brother, because we just did A Quiet Place 1 and 2.
Yeah,
that's right. Jack Whitehall, Paul Giamatti has a fairly small role in the film, and then of course our buddy Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad fame, and of course Fargo and lots of other things. But this is directed by, how do we say the name? Jaume Collet-Serra. Okay, you didn't care that much. But interestingly, he is also directing Black Adam, or directed Black Adam, which also stars The Rock, which is another, probably a DC bomb. I hate to make an early prediction, but so now, okay, I live in Florida. You can see I'm sporting my Walt Disney golf hat, which this was signed by Mickey Mouse, hand signed.
Oh,
by the mouse
I was
himself.
wondering who that was.
Yeah, not Bob Chapek. That's the mouse himself right there.
Right.
The only boss I answer to, folks. So
how often, because you're a pass holder at Disney.
Yes.
How often do you go on Jungle Cruise?
Well, not that often, because I don't go to Magic Kingdom that often, to be honest with you. I tend to go to the other parks more frequently.
But if you do go to Magic Kingdom, is it something you go to see? Is it a must see?
Yeah. I think the last few times I've been out there was like down for maintenance. So they were doing some enhancements to it at one point too. So But yeah, it's one that it's a little off the beaten path, and so
Yeah, because you got to go down a stairway, and
right,
it's kind of hidden. You can walk
exactly.
past it
It's
and
right
not even
across from
know it.
the
The tiki, yeah,
tiki room.
yeah,
But it was some good Dole Whip over there, by the way. Little
right.
advertisement for Dole Whip.
In fact, skip Jungle Cruise,
And
get in
just
the
go to the
Dole
Dole
Whip
Whip.
line.
That's right. So yeah, but it's one that I tend to like to take in because it's short. It's usually a good entertaining take, which this is not. This film is none of those
From
things.
the first time I went on Jungle Cruise, I
Yeah,
didn't like it. The corny jokes don't work.
right.
Usually you get somebody that every once in a while you get somebody that's like you can see the pain in his delivery of the corny
Well, okay,
jokes.
hold on a second though. I mean, that's the point, right? It's all about the cheese, and no pun intended with the mouse there. However, let's dial it back a little bit because you were in that position at one point. Let's not forget, folks. For those of you that don't know, in one of Mike's many past lives,
Yeah.
he was a cast member at Disney, and you were dishing out some of that same spiel cheese.
Yeah, but mine was all serious. I was in the land in Epcot.
Well, the content, but not the delivery.
The
I mean, weren't
delivery
you?
was
Weren't
I
you?
was no, I was a professional. Like I was proud of the way I delivered. In fact, I had a lot of people come to me.
All those antics that you were pulling.
Well, that was stuff that
Okay, so
consumers
the
didn't
monologue
see.
was
The
straight dead
monologue was good.
serious.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was.
all right,
And me and my buddy that worked there, we learned a lot of facts about the greenhouses and
right.
how they grow stuff and would educate people.
Yeah,
So
those bananas still there,
yeah, and we
still
ate a
there.
couple
Mm.
one night
How'd
and
that
they were
hospital visit
not
go?
good.
Yeah,
They
not
were
good.
not good.
So speaking of not good, let's get back to the film. Now, so the Jungle Cruise again, this is loosely based on that attraction. First of all, this film, I don't think it knows what it wants to be. It's Pirates of the
Correct.
Caribbean, it's Game of
Exactly.
Thrones,
That's
it's all over the place.
exactly my take.
It was so convoluted.
Yeah.
It got ridiculous. And it was 30 minutes, again, too long.
I'd say an hour too long.
Right, probably an hour
It
too
was
long.
painfully
But it was
long.
certainly 30 minutes too long for sure.
This is supposed to capture kind of the ride and the spirit of the ride, but then it thinks it's Pirates of the Caribbean at one point. And like you said, about an hour in, it gets so convoluted when we find
Right.
out the Rock's background.
Well,
Oh,
so the Rock's obviously the skipper of the boat, and
Skippy.
Emily, yeah, Skippy, yeah, Emily Blunt and her brother, played by Jack Whitehall, they are on a quest to find the Tree of Life. So they hire him as the navigator, and that's all we need to say about the plot of the story.
Right.
Budget of $200 million, not a surprise for a big.
Where did that go?
CGI, a lot of the CGI. I mean, you look at the production and the location, the settings.
Well, they were in Hawaii.
200 million. Well, 100 of that went to The Rock. Let's be honest.
Well,
now
I'm sure a good piece went to The Rock.
Worldwide, this has grossed about 77 million.
Yeah, and but domestically 13.
And they
in the
claim,
first weekend.
Yeah, and they claim from Disney Plus Premier Access, 30 million is what the claim is.
I'm not buying any of those numbers.
Now, Rotten Tomatoes, 93% on the audience side. Critics, hold on, critics, 63%.
And even that's high.
Yeah, but it's rotten. Let's be honest.
I can't, I wondered as I was, just like when I go on the ride, I wondered, do kids find this stuff funny? Well, maybe they do the dumb jokes.
But the
two can. Oh, there's only two can. Yeah, it's just painful.
There was some really bad. But let's talk about because there was some backlash about this when Jack Whitehall was like this has been in
Yeah,
this was
2015.
it goes back even further. Like in
Yeah,
2011, there was some
yeah.
initial right, but so
Tom
Jack,
Hanks. Tom
yeah,
Hanks was
right,
originally.
and Tim Allen, they were gonna
Yes.
like team up again. So Jack Whitehall gets cast in 2018, and then 6 months after he's cast, they announce his character is going to be a gay character.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jack Whitehall is not a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a straight man. But he plays, okay, not only is his character gay in the film, but he's like, very campy.
I was going to say,
so not only is he played by a
flamboyant.
straight actor,
Yes.
but they camp it up. In the way they did it with some of the jokes, we talking about the humor. I mean, I would be insulted. I just thought it was really.
Is that how it played with the gay community? Is that where you were going?
Well, just to say that there's been backlash. I haven't read like deep into the details, but I did see that on.
They're redoing the ride right now because, again, they're going way too far with the recreating history and the political correctness. We know they're doing it at Splash Mountain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're going to shut it down for 2 years.
Princess and the Frog, yeah, because of Song of the South.
I can't believe they're going to shut it down for 2 years to change. They're not changing the ride.
Yeah.
What's 2 years to redress the sets? But anyway, that's off track. But with this, the same thing. Okay, let's have a gay character, but they also are all caught up now. The ride's being redone at Disney. It never reopened in Disneyland from the pandemic, and ever since they reopened in Orlando, they've been tweaking the ride. So they take out the skulls, all of the, the natives can't be in paint or whatever. Come on. It's a goofy set. It's a stupid looking.
It's over the top, everything's,
nothing looks real. Like you're supposed to think these elephants are real. Or
no,
these
nothing.
Alligators are real?
Right. Well, but again, you got to go back to what we talked the early 70s when those premiered. It was like, I'm not saying it was state of the art back then, but for what it was,
And I know,
we're spoiled now with, Kylo Ren coming at you.
Well, that's the thing. But if you're going to redo it.
Yeah.
And wait till you see the redos. The redos are, what did they took away the skulls and they put a hut.
Yeah, take a look on YouTube there, folks.
Yeah, you can find it there.
I have to say, now, this is kind of ironic based on what I had said to you when we were, you were sort of putting out there that, we ought to cover this film. I'm like, The Rock. Look, you and I are two of the earliest Rock fans on the planet from wrestling days. I mean, you go way back with his father and everything. But I'm just like, I've been rocked out, he's like in everything. He was one of those, ironically pleasant things in the film.
Yeah. And next week we're doing John Cena, ironically, but
yeah,
you're right. Like he delivered those corny lines.
He did. And it worked. I was kind of chuckling here and there.
And I'm like, hey, God love you, Rock. I don't think I could have said it without rolling my eyes.
No, but I think
his line.
Aside from him, and I thought he and Emily Blunt worked off each other well. They had good chemistry.
They were fine. Yeah,
they had good chemistry. But Jesse Plemons was probably my favorite character.
I thought he was the only thing redeemable of the movie. He was funny.
Yeah. He's just so
when
absurd.
He was saying jungle. Yeah, it was absurd.
Let me back up a little bit. Do we talk about this Jack Whitehall's character and so there's I guess what they're referring to as a coming out scene where he and The Rock have a scene together, not to give anything away. Right. But it's he's speaking in these like euphemisms and metaphors and like, instead of just like coming right out, You know what I mean?
saying
It was
I'm a
like
kid.
dancing around it. If this is such
Yeah.
an important message for Disney to put out there, put it out there. Don't dance around it. We're
Yeah,
adults.
the way they said it was, well, I was supposed to be married to what's her
Well, and
name?
but the character says, his character says, what, McGregor, right? Wasn't that his name?
Uh,
McGregor.
yeah, I don't even
You know,
know. What's
that's for the YouTube
oh
folks.
Connor.
That's for the
Okay.
YouTube folks. But he says, they would never, my family would have disowned me or something because
It had
I
nothing to do with
because I
her.
placed my something to the effect of because I placed my feelings elsewhere.
Right. And then The Rock says
Elsewhere?
elsewhere. Oh,
Right. Like we
and
can't
then they
just
move
talk
on.
about it as adult. I mean, it's just to me that's insulting.
But his
And
flamboyance through the whole thing,
well, right, it was very campy.
It was stereotypical.
It was very
gay.
stereotypical, right? And he and The Rock have these like little exchanges where he says, "Oh, do you want to bite down on my stick?" And all of
Right.
these. I'm like,
Right.
really, Disney?
Right.
It's just wow.
Yeah, there was a couple of those cringe moments.
Here's another point, and I don't know if you picked up on this, and this is the last point I'm going to make, is because you talked a ton about music and Disney films over the last several episodes. There's a couple of segments in the film where the music gets really kind of dark, and I'm like, this is sort of heavy, like Game of Thrones. Well, come to find out, there's a James Newton Howard, who is the composer, right? He did Raya and the other films. There was a collaboration between him and Metallica.
I saw that in the
metal
credits.
bands. I'm like,
I saw
oh,
that in
okay.
the credits.
I'm like, I knew there was something about the tone
Yeah.
of some of this music, but
And none of the music was memorable.
no, once again, you still aren't getting your
No.
deliverable on that.
At one point, it was so obvious that they had no idea what to do. Let's just do something like we did in Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, if
That's right.
If you just walked into that movie and you were like, oh, I came here to see something else.
Is this the Black Pearl?
Oh yeah, this must be the new. Where's Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was seriously like they went right there because there's no where are you gonna go? It's a 5-minute ride with stupid jokes. How do you make a movie out of that? And the answer is you don't, because it was awful.
Yeah, it was
awful.
Yeah, it's not being received well on the critic side, and we're two among them at this point. So
and 13 million.
Yeah.
You're telling me it did 13 million at the box office and 30 million on Disney Plus? No way. No way.
Yeah,
Look at Black Widow's numbers.
I don't know,
no
man.
way.
I don't know.
And I know the box office went up, and I wrote a blog about it. What goes up might be coming right back down. And sure enough, that's what it seems like. I'm going to be really curious with Suicide Squad because it's a dual release, but that's got like 95 fresh or whatever. And that's out, next. So,
well, do yourself a favor and book a different cruise, book some other Disney cruise. Yeah, because this one's,
and again, right from the beginning with Emily Blunt, and I like her, and I like The Rock. We both like them both. And Emily Blunt sneaks into this area she's not supposed to be in to steal this medallion. And she looks over and she sees like an outfit. 2 seconds later, she's in the outfit. Yeah. And people are like, did something go by? And it was her hopping on a ladder. It was so ridiculously insulting. It was like a 1960, 70 Disney movie that's just corny and stupid.
Okay.
And if you go back and watch those movies,
I vaguely get your point, much the feeling I walked away with this film. All right. So look, anything else to say here? This is short and sweet here on Oh Brother with the Jungle Cruise. I think I've said all I want to say about this one, to be honest with you.
Skip it. your kids
Skippy? Oh, skip it.
pants. If your kids like it and you can sit through, if your kids want to see it, put it on and go in the other room for God's sakes and read a book.
Yeah,
because
Go
they
to
may
the-
like it, but
go to the
You
food and
won't.
wine. Go to the food and wine festival at Epcot, folks,
and have a lot of wine.
and have a lot of wine. Then go over to.
Yeah.
You can park hop over to the Jungle Cruise after that.
Wow.
Well, geez, there you go.
You see why I said Jungle
that
Curse,
says it all.
man.
Jungle Curse. I do see why. Yeah. Well, and they were also trying to do, like you said, the Curse of the Black Pearl, Little Pirates of the Caribbean. It had an identity crisis, folks. That's what this movie had.
I think they have greenlit a sequel.
Yeah. Now, do you know what's coming next on Disney?
Encanto, which
That's
I don't
Disney.
know
Okay. And then
Yeah,
that's free, right?
I think it's free.
You know it's going to be
It's
amazing.
going to be good.
It's going to be fantastic.
And I don't know if you caught it, but in this movie,
Yes.
they had these funny looking dolphins.
Yes.
And Rocco's, those are Encanto. That had to be a call.
I don't know. I thought about that in the moment, but I don't know. But you know what? That's not even a significant point. So let's end the way we began by saying, for those of you not currently following us, get aboard this ship and follow Oh Brother. And the easiest way to find all things Oh Brother is to go out to our official website, which is, Mike, what is that again?
OHB as in brother.
Folks, he's not holding up his mug. It's hard to get good talent these days, folks.
OHB as in brother podcast.com for all things Oh Brother. Can I say one thing before we go off the air? I love when I listen to the podcasts, which, I don't listen to us very often. I listen to other people, but if I put ours on, I love the pre-roll voice.
Mm-hmm. Not the post-roll voice?
I love them both.
You better give it up for both.
I love them both, but the pre-roll voice gets me in the mood with Carissa Lee Staples. She's so good.
That's the most shameless plug I've ever heard,
other
than the one that I just did about the Oh Brother podcast.
I had to say it because she was so nice to do that, and we've had other people do it too, and they've been great.
No, I love the way that that this show is sandwiched between that. You got Carissa Lee kicking us off, and then you've got Johnny Durango bookending it, and it's perfect.
It's awesome.
It's great. Awesome. Yeah, I love it too.
Best part of the show.
And I also love a shout out to our theme music creator, Dave Diaz. Once again, he really just, I love, hearing that. It just really fits. So big shout out to Dave.
You've been mixing it up a little bit with little, different clips of it at different spots.
Yeah, well, particularly when we do interviews, we've got a little interlude that Dave put together for us that we use there too. And Andrea Benham, again, who does all of the artwork for the YouTube channel.
Always makes me laugh.
It's so phenomenal. We just say, hey, this is the film we're doing, and then she comes back with something that makes us chuckle, and you never know where we're gonna end up in those in those things.
Or what sex we're gonna be, or what clothes we're gonna be wearing.
Yeah, you're gonna have snakes around your neck, and God knows what.
I'll be a snake, I think.
That's we already have it at this point.
Yeah, I forgot we already saw it.
Yeah, you already saw it. So, well.
Anyway, as we come to a screeching halt.
Yeah, just like this film, folks. All right, well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Yo Brother podcast. Been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time.
Please. See you next time.
You've reached cinematographer and producer Johnny Durango. I'm unavailable right now because I'm busy listening to myself on the Oh Brother podcast.